I've always found sweet potatoes kind of creepy. I mean, they're normal potatoes, but they're orange. It's kind of one of those things in nature that scientists say is a superfood, and I've been curious myself. What does the nutrition of a sweet potato actually look like? And is it really just as good as people say it is? What's up everyone, it's Alex here over at modernhealthmonk.com. Now check out this awesomeness about the sweet potato. I've been really curious because I like potatoes. Sweet potatoes are super easy to cook, super easy to make in last minute meals, but what does the nutrition really look like? Because there's a lot of BS about what's a superfood and what isn't. Well, check this out. So a study was done to actually compare various staple foods. So staples meaning the rice, the grains, the white bread, the white flour, all that kind of base stuff, the potatoes, the starches in other words. And they wanted to compare them based on their nutrients, their calories, their fiber, and so on and so forth, which were the highest of, what was the ratio of the highest nutrients to calories. And sweet potato came out on top. Now, before I show you the actual nutrition itself, the nutritional facts, you might find this interesting. A study found in Africa, or really any sweet potato, the darker the sweet potato, the higher the levels of vitamin A and beta-carotene. Now, in Africa, where vitamin A is very deficient in up to 50% of the kids that had the darker sweet potatoes had only a 10% rate of deficiency. So as I pull this up, check out some of these nutrition facts here I want to pull your attention to. The first is, look at vitamin A. 14,187 international units. Now, if you look across that image, there is nothing that comes even close. The next highest thing is plantains at 1,127. And when you compare it to something like white rice, it's 0. So obviously it's doing something crazy there. Now, the other thing is beta-carotene. Beta-carotene value here was 8,509. Plantains, it was 457. You look at rice and it's 0. And when you compare it versus a potato, the nutrient levels, the vitamin levels are pretty similar on most of the nutrients there. But again, when you look at vitamin A and beta-carotene, I mean, it is off the charts. Beta-carotene is 0 in potato and 165 or 180 in vitamin A, sorry. The sweet potato is still dominating it. And then also you've got vitamin K in sweet potato and other important nutrients that are just, for the actual calories and the actual nutrition, you're getting a ridiculous bang for your buck. Now, the only con here is that sweet potato is slightly higher in calories and slightly higher in carbs, although it's not a very dramatic increase. But otherwise, it is absolutely nutrient packed. And then as you can see here as well, the sweet potatoes also got a little bit of trace metals. For example, magnesium, phosphorus, potassium. Potatoes also do have potassium as well. But overall, it's a pretty solid health food. And there's a reason why I really love sweet potatoes, and it's because cooking them is so freaking easy. I mean, literally, if I'm making a meal last minute, I'll take 2 sweet potatoes, throw them in the pot, just boil them for a half hour, and then they're soft, and you can just slice them up right there, and they're sweet enough, they taste good. You don't have to salt them, you don't have to sugar them, you don't have to bake them. Throw them in as you're cooking, or even in the morning. If you want to, honestly, you could do a hard-boiled egg and sweet potatoes. Protein and carbs right there, and they're so easy, they're naturally sweet, super easy to cook. You can then mash them, you can add butter, you can add whatever you want. It's such an easy staple food, in addition to the fact that super high in nutrients, and it stores anywhere. It's a potato, so it's so easy to store in your fridge or in the pantry or wherever you want to have it. So truthfully, based on the science, sweet potato pretty much is a superfood, if you want to call it that, particularly in those 2 nutrients that we talked about. So today's tiny habit is very, very simple. Usually I'm giving you a pretty complex behavioral change or some, actionable habit. Today it's easy. Just add sweet potatoes to your diet if you're not already eating them. Or better yet, swap out, for example, white bread or white rice for sweet potato instead. You're going to be packing a much bigger nutritional punch for the same amount of food. So that's all for today. Make sure you go on over to modernhealthmonk.com. Subscribe over there. That's where all the comments happen as well. I've got a free bonus guide for you on the email list. Go ahead and subscribe on YouTube and leave a comment below. I want to know from you, do you eat sweet potatoes? And if so, what's your favorite way to prepare them if you really, really have to do it quickly and you're crunched for time? Thanks so much. I'll see you next time.